Hello, my name is Gil Zilkha. Welcome to my channel. This is my series entitled Essential Classical Music, where we look at the best recordings of the major classical music works. This video is taken out of my larger video covering the major symphonies. If you enjoy this, I hope you will go over and look at that larger one. Just know that you don't have to watch it all in one big gulp. It is divided into chapters. It's real easy to just click through and choose whichever symphony that you're curious about. So I hope you enjoy it. Next, we're going to discuss Symphony number 6, the Pastoral Symphony. And this was Beethoven's programmatic symphony, meaning that it wasn't just abstract music, but he was actually depicting something. And in this case, he was depicting nature. And in particular, the word pastoral, it connotes this feeling of bliss, of tranquility. And my top choice for this symphony is one that I think succeeds in that, and that is, again, Klemperer, this time in stereo from 1957. And this version is famously slow. A lot of people think it's too slow, but the reason I pick this version is I think it really does succeed in that atmosphere of tranquility. Again, Klemperer's way of just being very steady, and the way that it's almost hypnotic, the way he does that. It really works well. So that is my top choice. However, there are other ways to do it as well. A very famous recording is from Carl Bohm. This is, or Carl Bohm, you might say. It's got the B-O with the umlaut, H-M. Carl Bohm, excuse me. This is with the Vienna Philharmonic. And this was recorded in 1971. It's part of his complete cycle with the Vienna Philharmonic, which, incidentally, I'm not a big fan of cycles because they tend to be, variable. It's really hard to have, a consistent level of artistry throughout an entire cycle. But I think Bohm comes as close as anybody to doing that. Really, only the Fifth Symphony, I would say, is maybe Bohm could be a little bit trudge-like sometimes, and the Fifth Symphony suffers from that. But the rest is fantastic. He's immaculate in his understanding of Beethoven, and the beauty of the Vienna Philharmonic and the sound quality, the detail. It really is. To me, I think maybe the most recommendable complete cycle, and actually I even have that cycle. One of the few, actually the only complete cycle that I own is this one. Now, compared to the Klemperer in the Pastoral Symphony, it's very beautiful, very natural sounding, as Bohm tended to be, and has a little bit more spirit in that first movement compared to Klemperer. So definitely that is an option as well. Now, for someone who also was very well known for the Pastoral Symphony, who we haven't discussed yet, is Bruno Walter. This is with the Columbia Symphony. This was recorded in 1958. Sounds pretty good. It's in stereo. And Walter was known for... he was an exciting conductor, particularly in his younger years. But what he really was known for, and fair or unfair, we know him more from his recordings from his last years that he made, these stereo recordings, particularly with the Columbia Symphony, where he's more known for his warmth and his gentleness, and that really comes out here. That's why this is such a popular version of the Pastoral Symphony. The only problem with it, I would say, is the storm. It's more like a small sprinkle. It's not exactly very menacing, but it still fits with the conception as a whole. And it's definitely a version that if you love this symphony, you're going to want to hear. This particular issue is coupled with a really good Fourth Symphony, incidentally. Now, another stereo version, and this is also from a complete cycle, comes from André Cluytens, French conductor, but with the Berlin Philharmonic. This was recorded in 1960. And this is another one that I would say the complete cycle is pretty good. It's one of the most consistent around. It's one that I would recommend among the top choices if you want consistency, which you get from Cluytens. He was not as flashy maybe as someone like, say, Karajan, not as individual as someone like Klemperer, but you could always count on him for a really good interpretation, and this is no exception. This is probably the highlight of that cycle, is this Pastoral Symphony, sounding pretty good in 1958 stereo. And then I'm going to recommend as well one historic version, and that is the Furtwängler again. And the ones that I already recommended, the two concerts that featured the Fifth Symphony also featured the Sixth Symphony. In this case, this one I said is the more dramatic of the fifths, and this one is the better recorded, a little bit slower. I think that slower approach actually works better in the Pastoral Symphony. This may be my favorite version of all among Pastoral symphonies. It's just gorgeous, the way he goes from the storm, which is really dramatic in his hands, to the feeling of tranquility you get in that final movement. It really is wonderful. This one is really good too. It's not as well recorded, not as full as this. That's the same is true for both the Fifth and the Sixth Symphony in both these recordings, but it also is really really good. The only thing I would say about Furtwängler, and this is a common criticism, is that because he was so probing and so dramatic, it may have been a little bit much for this symphony. Like I said, with Klemperer, for example, and with Bohm and Walter, you get this feeling of naturalness, of tranquility. Sometimes the drama that Furtwängler brought to it may have been a bit much, but it's so musical that it's one that I still have to recommend. Incidentally, both for the Fifth and the Sixth Symphonies, these are the Tara issues. Tara, T-A-H-R-A. Those are generally the best versions of these live Furtwängler concerts, but they are difficult to find. If you're willing to invest in a box set, probably the best box set of Furtwängler performances is this one from Audite. This one actually has both of these two concerts from 1947 and 1954. One is at the very beginning of this set and one is at the very end. So these are, I believe, all his broadcasts, all his live performances with the Berlin Philharmonic after the war. So, and it's really, I would say, in terms of a set, this shows Furtwängler at his best. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you'll also take time to click the like and subscribe buttons. And with that, I want to wish you all a great day and happy listening.